Hello, everyone, and welcome to Twillow Talk. I'm Tanis Coughlin from the Twillow Lifestyle Community, Twillow Lifestyle Academy, and I am joined by my beautiful co-host, Jennifer Jerkovsky. And we have a special guest today. We have Nicole Coleman with us today. Thank you so much for coming on with us, Nicole. That's awesome. We're really happy to have you on and
Thank you.
have you with us. We have people saying hello already. Hey, Kaylee.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us. Awesome. And we have Gerald. Hey, Gerald.
Hi, Gerald. I was just hanging out with Gerald.
Where
2
you
o'clock today, we did a laugh and learn on Authorities Part 4.
Woohoo.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I hope your little break was good, Gerald. I think that was last Wednesday. So, yeah. So, as we usually do, we go through our what's happening in the energies and whatnot. So, we have had a pretty quiet 24 hours in terms of our stuff, in terms of our solar flares. So, we've got solar flares here. The biggest one was an M7 back here. We've got some M's in here, which were yesterday, but today's been really pretty quiet for solar flares, which is a nice break. We usually see a lot more we've been seeing a lot more activity lately. And then we have an ad, and then we have our Schumann resonance. So our Schumann resonance here, you can see even that's been pretty quiet. It's only at 19 right now. Keep in mind, 7.8 hertz is the baseline, so this is still elevated, but not as it has been up in the 60s, 70s, 90s. So you can see we had a little blip this morning there, or earlier today. Been quite a bit quieter than this afternoon. So, Jen, what are we doing in terms of our
transits?
What's going on with the transits?
We actually had a shift today. And so we're moving into gate 20. So here's the image for it. Okay, and gate 20 is about the now, right? And being in the now. And it's an interesting gate because we're moving from superficiality to presence. And we're doing that through self-assurance. And what does that really look like for us? And it's really interesting. This is the sacred It's really that presence, that energy to be able to tap into and allow ourselves to, really have that transformative energy that comes from truly being present. The gate's all about contemplation. And so spending some time between now and the 26th with that introspection, right? Kind of paying attention. Am I staying on the surface and really not allowing myself to go deeper? Or am I stepping into that self-assurance? Am I able to really look at what's coming up for me and what is my relationship with myself right now? And how can I work on that in order to bring that assurance forward, in order to recognize that, I'm on this path? And it's so interesting when we look at, the way that the transits have been kind of setting us up with doing all of the introspection and figuring out kind of where we want to go. And now we're really able to take that time to contemplate it and see what's coming up for us, right? And so the kind of victim mentality that goes with this is that insecure place and getting caught up in, being either really absent and avoidant in a lot of ways, right? I don't want to deal with this because of the insecurity, or getting ourselves really caught up in being hectic and kind of overdoing as a way to stay in that superficial place, right? So the energy right now is one that's saying, take it a little deeper, right? Take it a little deeper. Allow yourself to be present in the moment and notice what's coming up for you. And
yeah. Notice what's coming up for you. So what's coming up for you, Jen? For me, the insecurity thing is always there. Like, this is definitely something that's coming up for me on a regular basis. Well, because we all have that inner child stuff to work through, right?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. Mm-hmm. And when we think about, the ability to actually be present, right? Like how easy it is in our day-to-day lives to get caught out and not be present. Right? Like things are
Yeah.
happening and we're worried about this thing over there and that thing over there and what's happening, all around us. But can we really be present and in the moment, and paying attention to what's going on inside of us and allowing ourselves to really, hold space for that?
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned avoidance and all of that. I think sometimes we tend to get too busy, so we don't pay attention to what's happening, right? And we're like one thing to the next, one thing to the next. That is kind of an avoidance thing. I know you feel like you're busy and you're getting somewhere, but really we are better if we stop and feel into that and release and then
Yeah.
move forward. But it's hard to see that when you're in the throw of things, right? So
Yeah, it really is. And it's interesting, right? Like this is energy that comes from the throat center. So it really is about our ability to speak our truth. It's about being able to do, right? Because the throat is that action piece and our metabolism, right? Like how we break things down, how we understand them. And the voice of the throat that goes with this gate is the I am, right? I am now. In this moment, this is where I'm at. Right? And to be able to actually tap into what that is and know what that is and be okay with what that is.
and you mentioned metabolism,
Mm-hmm.
which is a wonderful segue into
I knew you were gonna do
introducing our
that.
guest.
I can see that coming from a mile away. Annie.
Yeah, well, I'm not subtle. What can I say?
I love it.
You guys,
So-
you guys planned that ahead of time, didn't you?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I can totally see you. Jeez.
Well, not consciously. We might have done it in the astral, but we
yes,
didn't do it
okay,
here.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well done.
So we have Nicole Coleman with us today. I'm super excited to have you on, Nicole. So Nicole and I have been friends for about 6-7 years now, at least. In this
Almost
lifetime.
10 tennis.
Almost 10, we've been friends for almost 10 years. And time flies when you're having fun.
I guess so, yes.
And so Nicole is joining she's rejoining, I guess we could say. She's a new oldie. So she was one of the OGs with Twillow Lifestyle Community. And she stepped away for a little bit and she's back now. And so I'm super excited to have her back. She has some new skills as well as some of her older skills. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do, Nicole?
What I do? Well, I am a personal trainer and I am a registered holistic nutritionist.
Mhm.
And so I combine the two of those together. Not always, not in every instance. But the reason that I did become a holistic nutritionist because I got a lot of questions from clients about nutrition, and I legally was not allowed to answer them because it was beyond my scope of practice. So I figured that I might as well be able to answer these questions because it was going to help people a whole lot more. I became a holistic nutritionist. And so now I kind of combine the two.
And so you do a lot with not just with food, right?
Yeah.
You also are a specialist with supplements, with
Yes.
with herbs. You just finished your herb.
Yes, I just finished
herb
getting
class.
my practical herbalist diploma. So yes, I have. Yay! And I'm supposed to be doing my homeopathy, but that just takes a whole lot more time. But I'm in the midst of that too. So yes.
Yeah, you're a
Doing a
busy
lot.
girl.
Yeah, doing a lot of different things.
Because you're also going back to school.
Yes.
I hear.
Yeah.
Do you want to speak about that type of school? So that's a little different from some of the other that you do.
Yeah. So this is real school where they give you a degree at the end of it if you make it that far. I'm headed back. I am going back to Carleton. Well, not back to Carleton. I'm going to Carleton, and I am doing a BA honors in Greek and Roman studies with a minor in archaeology. I already have a BA and an MA in religious studies and comparative religion. And I was supposed to go do my PhD many, 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 many moons ago. And some little beings decide to come into existence.
Her children.
so I just-
I'm just saying.
What?
I said her
What?
children. Her
Oh, yes,
children.
yeah, little
We talk
beings.
about other kinds of
No,
little
actually,
beings. I just want to be
beings,
sure.
all the things I had to, keep alive. So yeah, I had a few of those, and they're old enough now, and they're all going to be in university. So I decided it was time for me to go back and take that next step, and then move towards my PhD. So I am just I'm having fun learning. It's constant learning.
It's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
So that's what I do. Learn.
So she's also been a teacher with us. So she's been teaching nutrition classes with us on and off for the whole time the school's been open. And then she's going to be dipping her toe into some other types of teachings, right?
Super cool.
Like
I am. Yes.
Yeah, she's like,
Do we
am
get
I?
to know
What am I teaching?
Great.
We talked about doing some goddesses and that kind of thing.
Yes.
classes with
Yeah.
practices
So yeah,
and
that's
stuff.
where that whole Greek and Roman aspect will come in. Is doing a lot of goddesses and learning about them and how we relate to them and where they fit in our lives and
Super cool.
So we're gonna be bringing that in.
Woohoo.
Yes.
And she's also level 3
Level
Reiki.
3, yeah. Reiki.
Yeah, she's also a level 3 Reiki practitioner.
Yeah.
And level 1 Aqua Lead. So she's an Aqua Lead practitioner as well. So
Very cool.
she has lots of little trinkets and tools that she's bringing
all
to
over
the
the place.
school. It's so exciting. And yeah. We should say hello to a few people here that are on. So we have, who have we got here? We have Hypnocity. Hey, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Great to see you. And yeah, so Gerald is saying congratulations. That's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
That we clarified. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was kind of for you, Gerald. Although there's a few people that might think that in the audience today. So and oh, cool.
Oh, very cool.
Very good. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of us are perpetual students.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Always learning. That's not a bad thing.
It is a great thing. Yeah. That all sounds exciting. Yeah. I think Jen and I are both perpetual learners as well. I think I've got about 4 or 5 classes on the go and a couple others that are kind of waiting. So I'm kind of working on a bunch of different things, and sound healing and Arcturian healing and all sorts of fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you've just done a whole bunch of school. You just got your certification in, you being Jennifer, just got your certification in.
Oh, I'm like, what?
Yeah. In human design.
Well, right? I mean, I've been doing a lot of coursework in so many different areas and deep diving. I love to deep dive, right? That's my one line anyway. But I love to just deep dive into the knowledge of different things, and then my alchemizing and putting it all together is the fun part, right? How can I pull from this and that and this and that, and how can I bring it together and kind of make it my own, which sounds like exactly what you're doing too, Nicole, being able to bring a lot of these different things together and make them kind of their own unique offering to the world. And I love being able to do that with so many different modalities.
Yeah, I think that's something we all do to bring things forward into the world, right? Every practitioner, not just 3 of us. I think every practitioner has their own unique toolbox, their own unique energy, their own unique way of delivering, and all of that, which makes the diversity amazing, right? Because different people are with different resonate with different people, and so that's about you, Nicole. That came out then. And Gerald has tiny hands. We don't have little tiny hands, but Gerald has these tiny little hands. They're only about this big, and they're like, they're awesome. And then we've got Liz. Hey, Liz. Thanks for joining us. Good to see you. Checking in to give us thumbs up. Awesome. Yeah. I think that's me too.
100%.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm thinking that might be our topic for today.
Learning.
Learning. Since we're all like lifelong learners
Mm-hmm.
and we're all doing classes right now, and I think that's a great
Yeah.
thing. So let's just talk about that today, and then we can do our card at the end or see where it all goes. So I'd love to just show you guys the new parts on our website where Nicole has been added in so that you can find her if you want to go and do that. Let me go into that first, and then we'll do the. Am I missing something? No, that's our usual. Yeah.
I don't think we're missing anything. We just kind
Okay.
of go with the flow and do whatever
I
comes.
was feeling like they're saying you're missing something. I'm like, I don't know what I'm missing.
We could do the card, but if we've already chosen a topic, we don't need to do a card.
Yes.
And then I will talk about something else, but it actually goes with the lifelong learning thing. It's the energy that we're moving into for the next year.
Oh, that's what we're missing. Okay, hold on.
We're not there yet, so it's all good.
This is kind of part of Nicole's intro. So let's do this, and we'll continue with our intro, and then we'll come back to learning and all that stuff. Yes, exactly. Earth School. We're all learning. All right, so I'm going to add this. So for Nicole, you can see here on the website that you can book a discovery call with her right here. So just if you go to the services tab, that's where we are here. And I'm looking here. You can book a discovery call with her. You can scroll down here and do an initial consultation. So an initial health consultation. Do you want to talk about that, Nicole, about what that would include?
Sure. It's kind of like going over your lifestyle, discussing what you're doing with your life. Always hitting the top ones. What are you eating? What is your stress level like? Are you sleeping? And are you exercising? Those are the big top 4 that always need to be discussed to be able to kind of get everything into alignment. So we would talk about that. We would talk about supplements, just kind of a general idea of where you're at, and then recommendations of what might be the best course of action for you.
Because if somebody's nutrition is good and that's not a concern, they might want to talk to you about a few things, but not.
Yeah, they might want to talk about supplements at that point.
Yeah.
What can we add in, or what do we need to take away? Even for some people, you need to take away supplements. What do you need to add or take away to be able to get you in the most prime condition to be able to achieve your health goals?
So from there, after the initial consultation, then you can choose to book either holistic nutrition session or a personal training session with Nicole. So that's how that works. And while we're here, I'm just going to pop down to here because you can get a consultation with Jen here too. She's got a consultation thing here to book. So don't forget to do that. We've got Gary as well. So those are our practitioners. And of course, we all have discovery calls here. So if you're new to us and you haven't seen us yet, please go ahead and give that a go. See what resonates. Okay. So there we go. Did you want to do what's coming up then, Jen? And we'll go back to the learning after.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting because it has to do with the learning, and this is going to be such an amazing year for that. So I don't get into a whole lot about the transits with all the planets other than the sun, because we always talk about the sun because of the impact that it has, and it's constantly, every 6 days it's changing its transit. But we have a huge transit that's going to be coming up on the 25th. And this one is going to impact a lot of stuff in our lives. So what's happening is actually Jupiter, which changes every year it changes. So this is going to be the first time in 12 years that this has happened. But Jupiter is moving into Gemini. This is huge. When it comes to manifesting what our hopes and dreams, but there's also a lot of tension between these two. And so I think it's a really important piece to note that we're moving into this energy. It's going to be really awesome and really powerful, but with everything that involves change, stuff's going to come up. Right? And in the process of this transition, noticing it's starting in this gate of contemplation. And there's a significance to that as well, because So Jupiter in Gemini, it's going to amplify the information overload. So when we're talking about this perpetual learner, it's really about being able to narrow our scope a bit, right? Because, you know, so many of us, and I'm me too, is like has a little bit in here and a little bit in there and a little bit in this thing. And I have like you, Tana's like 5 different courses on the go that I'm a little bit through this and a little bit through that. And then I have, you know, like 3 or 4 different projects that I'm in the middle of working on. And this energy that we're moving into is really about bringing things to fruition, right? Like this is a really powerful energy for manifesting, but part of that is going to be about having to narrow that scope, right? Like being able to do the contemplation and go inside and go, okay, what is really aligned for me right now? And then become more decisive about what that looks like. So we're talking about 12 years. So I got to say, so the last time that Jupiter was in Gemini was back in 2012. So this was like June 2012 to June 2013. And I don't know about all of you, but like that was a massive transition time for me in my life. Like this is when I had my divorce. This is when like so much in my life changed. I basically wiped my entire everything that was everybody I was connected to, work, everything transitioned at that point in time. So there's a lot of energy here about you know, the potential roadblocks that can come up, but also being able to recognize like the energy to actually face them and address them and then move through them, right? And if we can do that and we can tap into the Gemini energy of, you know, being able to really kind of bring energy forward into the Jupiter energy of being able to manifest what we want, right? This wisdom and abundance, then, you know, the sky's the limit. So it's a really, really powerful energy that we're shifting into. So notice what you're being called to do and use this time right now in this transit to contemplate what is true for you and what really moves you forward, so that as we step into this energy, you kind of have a direction of where you want to go with it.
Yeah. So it's looking inside and saying, okay, what do I love? What do I love to do? Right? Do that. In 2012 was actually the time where I think they call it the harmonic convergence as well, where it was actually decided that we had enough light, the light quotient on the earth. We had enough people that were awakened that we were going to continue with this process. So there was like, it was a big yay. We had like, I think it had to be 20% by then in order for us to continue with this ascension process, which we did. And I'm getting chills as I'm talking about that. So I think we got support on that question, or that answer, I should say. So it was a pivotal time in sort of the overall spiritual energetics of the earth as well. So it's no wonder that we all had a lot of personal change around that time as well. So absolutely. So what have we got here? Oh. Yes, I'm on the website too. Yeah.
Yes. If Tanis wasn't on her own website, that would be a problem.
It could be an issue. Yeah. And Kaylee says she graduated university, started college. Can't remember what else happened, but that was a big milestone. Yeah. So it should be interesting. Yeah, it will be, I think, coming up, right?
Yeah.
So if we can get clarity on where we're supposed to go, that would be good. I actually had a couple of messages around that.
Yeah.
This week, sort of, I was hearing like prioritize, and I was like, oh, okay, sure. I'm not good at prioritizing. You know, that squirrel brain of mine wants to be everywhere, but you know, every so often, just sit down and prioritize.
Yeah. Well, and we're going to have to do that prioritizing with this energy, right? Because if you think about it, like the reason why there's some aspects to this that like, so technically Jupiter would be in detriment in Gemini, which just means that there's stuff that we have to work through, right? But like, if you think about it, here's Jupiter who just wants to take it all in, right? And really spend that time taking it all in and really getting down to like the heart of things, right? That those deep dives. And Gemini is like, okay, next, okay, now what are we doing now? Can we go? What's next, right?
So it's going to be doing this, is what
Well,
you're saying.
there's your squirrel, Tanis, you know, you're getting clarity, but at the same time, you can just, oh, woo, woo, woo.
Squirrel.
Yeah, exactly. Clarity.
Well, that could be good. Usually
really
it doesn't
like,
come with much clarity.
yeah. Well, we have to be able to kind of balance those, right? And figure it out. And, you know, like, okay, great. There's going to be all these little squirrel things because Jupiter has this vast expanse. So you're going to be like, oh, look at that, and 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 that, right? But then being able to go, okay, that's what's calling me. Right. Mm-hmm. And then having the energy of that to be able to really expand it. So.
Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts on that, Nicole?
Well, I mean, the question that popped to mind is, Jen, am I going to be spending the next 12 years searching for clarity, or because Jupiter's Gemini for 12 years kind of thing?
No,
or
12 months. 12 months.
12 months.
12
I thought you
months.
said 12 years. And I was just like, I don't think I want to do that for the next 12 years. Okay, 12 months.
No. It takes 12 years to cycle back, right? So it spends about a year
every zodiac.
Each
okay.
sign.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
It's about 12 years before it comes back to this one.
Okay.
Oh, golly. No, but I mean, if you think about it, like some
12.
major advancements happen each time that this has come into play, right? Like the first one was in like the 2000 to 2001 time frame, right? Y2K, everything shifted. And so much about like, you know, media and the way that things were brought forward and all of that, like completely changed for us. And then to 2012, right, with the whole Mayan calendar thing and the way that that changed. But then also like, you know, this is where, you know, iOS came out and we started getting all of these other like, you know, big advancements in various areas. And so like each time this happens, there is challenge, but there's also like leaps and bounds of transformation that happens.
Right.
So
it's happening for us, not to us.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's good. That's good. I know. I'm looking forward to it. Clarity will be nice.
Yeah.
It'll be good. You know, there's always the work to be done, and you know, every sign that you're in, there's something nuanced and interesting about it that kind of pops out and goes, hey, we're going to work on this now.
Yeah.
And we've certainly seen a lot of that in the last while, right?
Yeah. Well, and you know, you think about it too, right? And so much of even the transits that we've been going through have been really looking at, can I be, and we're in it now, is this, can I really be present in this moment? Can I feel into what's going on, right? And can I honor that for myself? And that's really kind of the energy of this whole year, is can I do that? Can I be present with these things that want to come from me into the world and actually hold space for them?
So it's going to be very creative, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Lots of carnelian work.
Mm-hmm.
Work with some carnelian during this time.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Yeah, there's so much potential. It's really quite incredible.
Yeah, awesome. So learning. We're going to be doing a lot of learning. So somebody brought up Earth School. Hypnocity brought up Earth School. I mean, that is our life journey here, right? We did come down to learn. So this lifelong learner thing is definitely within us. It's part of what we're here to do. I don't know. So what's your main reason that you want to keep learning? Jen, let's start with you.
Sure. It's interesting. I like to balance, well, I'm a 1-3. I like to balance my learning and my deep dives with experience, right?
Mhm.
And what that is. So I'll deep dive for a bit and then I'll play with it for a bit. And then I'll deep dive for a bit and then I'll play with it for a bit. And I think there's a component here that's really important in that if we're not constantly working towards things that light us up, what's the point?
Yeah.
Right? And so to be able to expand and learn and grow and understand, it just allows for us to find more joy. And there's more opportunity for having fun with all of it. Because I equate learning with fun, right?
Yeah, me too.
So for me, it's like, whoo, this is so cool, right? And then
She gets like that too. I've seen her.
the sit-ups and start going, and you're like, and then I could do this with it, and then look, oh, and then that, right? And I love the joy and the excitement and all that comes from being able to really kind of feel pieces fit together, right?
It's
And
an
I think that,
exploration, right? The
yeah, and the more
exploration.
that we stay in the place of not knowing, the more open we are to take in so much more, right? And as long as when we take all of that in, we can still stay in that place of not knowing, like, it's just, sorry, that's just like the epitome of like my joy.
Which is awesome. How about you, Nicole?
I have to say that, I mean, I love what Jen said, but for me too, it's in my blood. Both my parents went back to school in their 50s, 60s, you know, got their second and third master degrees. Like, it just, for me, it's just, no, it's not that there isn't any other option. It's that this is the best option. This is the most interesting option. And you know, I have 3 kids in university and college right now, and I want to keep up with them. You know, I want I want to be able to offer my insights into things as well, just like they're learning. I want to be able to. I don't want to say, okay, you know, I've reached this age where that's it, I'm done, and literally you're done at that point. If that's my mentality, you know, just bring it on, just more and more and more and more. You know, I could get my PhD when I'm 75 years old, and whatever, I don't need to do anything with it. It's not for anyone else. It's because I'm doing it for me to be able to say, okay, I set this objective and I really want to achieve this.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, you know, doing it when I'm a little bit younger, maybe getting it before I'm 75, I want to be able to teach. I want to be able to take that knowledge and the passion, you know, and share it with other people,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully infuse some excitement into other people about how much I love the topics, you know, nutrition, goddesses. I would love to other people to be able to be like, ooh, okay, that's kind of infectious. Maybe I'll take a deep dive and we'll go off on this tangent over here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I love that.
I think that's part of why I love to teach too. Is just it's those light bulb moments with the students when you know you're making a difference in their lives just with that one statement that you said, you know, or with that one little piece. And yeah.
Well, and I love Hypnicity, the quote like on Facebook, right? Be teachable, you're not always right. And I love that too, because, and I know we've talked about this, and I'm sure, Nicole, as you teach, you found that too, but the insights that you can gain, like I always say, even with my clients and stuff, like I'm on a journey with you. And this really, like, I get lit up by having you have these experiences, but also you sharing your insights and where you're at. Like that helps me too, right? Like there is this kind of perpetual learning that happens all the time. And I just love that.
And it's reciprocal. Like you said, like it's reciprocal, right? As I'm teaching you something, there's a moment where I go, aha, I finally get that now. It makes sense to me, which means I can now relay that to you so much better.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it's the back and forth, the give and take.
I think we learn just as much from our students as they learn from us, really, you know, in different ways at different topics, even during a topic class. So I think it's awesome. Kaylee says, for me, it's just a lot of making myself better. Current course I'm taking beef cattle is to make me better at my current job. Next course, though, will actually be fun. Creative therapies. Awesome. Yeah. Interested to see how my mind accepts the learning differently. Yeah, I think as we get older, so I did university right out of high school. I got a social science degree, sociology and leisure studies. And then I was like, I can't even do one more year. Like I had the wrong mindset at that time. I'm like, I can't even do one more year. So I started working full time. And then, stuff happened at home with Jeff and everything. And I was like, okay, I need to upgrade my skills. And so I ended up going back to college to do distance HR stuff, and then went to applied management. And then from there, I started into this stuff and did like the Reiki and all of those other things that I have. But it's interesting because for me, I think the university part right out of high school, it almost felt like I was doing it for somebody else. And then as soon as I got into doing stuff as an adult, it's like, okay, I know more what my direction is. I know more what I love. So I'm going to do this.
And I think it makes it easier too. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Right? Like you said, I did a year, you're just done. I had to take a course in ancient Greek. I have to learn Greek and Latin. Let's put it that way. And I was like, I got to get ahead of this game because I'm going to be going in there with a whole bunch of younger kids who are just going to be like, oh, okay, I get this. And little old me, I'll be like, okay.
That's not how it's going to work.
Yes, no, so I'm taking ancient Greek. And I'm actually surprised how much of it I'm absorbing and how, as an older person, it's almost easier to learn it than it was, say, when I was 20. And it just seems like now it's just like, okay, it's coming to me. It makes it makes sense. Let's put it that way. It makes sense. Mm-hmm. So I think that as we get older and as we learn things make more sense with what it is that we're looking to, I guess, achieve, looking to learn, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that, especially for things that don't require memorization as much, I find memorization is more difficult as I'm older.
Yes.
But the actual learning things, doing the reading and having the conceptual ideas and sort of processing those into an action or whatever.
And maybe it's too because we figured out what our mode of learning is. We're still figuring it out when we're younger, but now we've had all this time. Maybe we figured out what works best for us. Maybe writing everything down again is the best way to learn, or reading it or saying it out loud, whatever it is. It's, we figured out what works best for us. So we're able to automatically go there, not have to try a whole bunch of different ways out to figure out how we're going to learn.
Yeah. I think at this stage of the game too, if we're choosing to go learn something, it's because we really want to learn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. We really want to have that as part of our experience. And we want to be able to give the time and energy to it.
Yeah. Well, and we'll make the time and energy give to it because we are interested and want to learn something from it, as opposed to I'm in school, I have to get a degree so I can get a job because my mom and dad told me to. It's very different.
It is
very different.
And I know for me, I think a lot of times I'm learning what I know that people want to learn as well. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's also a love of trying to bring people what they need, want, what they want to learn. Because when we don't have that, and I love to learn anyway because I get bored easily, so I bring in all these different things. It helps me to bring in new things to my healing practice. It helps me to bring new things into what I teach, all of that stuff. And I think that keeps my practice and my teaching practice fresh for me. And so because I tend to do that, I get like, oh yeah, I've done this a million times, there's comfort in that, but it's nice to be able to color outside those lines and be able to, grab onto some new stuff to bring that new color in. and shade that with the other style. So
Yeah.
we have a comment here from Bonnie Jolly. Hello, Bonnie. Thank you for joining us.
Okay. I don't doubt myself in learning anymore. Yeah. Well, yeah. And I think part of it too, when we're at this stage and we want to learn something, we're more open to actually learning it and don't think we already know everything, right? Like we've come to a place of going, yeah, this, I don't know everything and I'm okay with not knowing everything. And I want to now understand this more. And so I think that does make it easier to integrate as well. Because there, this idea of I don't doubt myself when I'm learning, it's because I've already accepted the fact that I don't have this information and I would like to glean this information from what I'm doing. Right. So now we're able to integrate it because it's like, yeah, this is what I'm seeking and I want it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you've both taught other things as well. So I've taught a whole bunch of things. I used to teach painting and IT and all that stuff. I think for me, teaching, the types of courses that we're teaching now, the spiritual, the self-development, those kinds of things, the reward behind it is higher for me because you see like a deep personal change with people when they learn this kind of thing. And I think that's
it's too, you're giving them tools. You're educating. From my perspective, right? Let's say from a nutrition perspective, I can't create the change, but I can give you the tools and I can give you the education for you to take the steps along the path to literally make lifelong changes. And I think you both do the same thing as well.
Yeah.
So we give tools. Our education provides us the knowledge to be able to provide other people tools to educate themselves to then create that change for them. And I think that's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Because we're not just dictating information. We're helping people to change the parts of themselves that they want to make better. And that's pretty powerful. I think that's pretty powerful.
Yeah. It's a pretty cool part of our job, for sure.
Yeah. I love that ability.
Go ahead. It's like, no, you first. No, you first. First. I think that what that does is it speaks to that support, not save thing, right? Because we don't have control over what other people do. Right. We only have control over ourselves. So I think, it's support, not saved is like, I'm going to give you these tools to support you. You got to save yourself kind of thing. That's kind of that's the whole thing about it's an inside job, right? Any change is an inside job.
And we'll be there to cheer you on and, that sort of thing. We're there for you.
Yes.
But we're not going to save you. We're going to be there beside you as you walk on this journey. Yep. And we're going to support you and cheer you and do everything we can. It's up to you, though, to do the hardest part.
Yeah. Well, and that's it. And I get, clients sometimes will come in, especially for psychotherapy and stuff. And they're like, okay, so you're going to fix me, right? I'm like, one, no. And two, there's nothing to fix. And three, you're going to do the work to be where you want to be.
Surprise! We're not fixing you. That's not our job.
Right. Well, and I love, that part too. Like there's nothing to fix, right? Like my job isn't to fix you. My job is to help you see that you've already got everything you need. Maybe we just have to look at it a little differently, or we have to, explore just a new way of being with it. But you've got the capacity already there.
Exactly. We're just helping you bring it forward a little more.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh,
that's so sweet. Thank you. You exemplify your teachings too. You're all amazing teachers, amazing students, and as a result, great mentors because you can relate. Absolutely. We're doing the best we can too. We're not here to judge or, we're walking the same road. Like Nicole said, right? We're just walking beside you, doing our best, and we all just do what we're meant to do here. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and if you don't know what you're meant to do, we can help you find that.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, when we talk about this journey of learning, the more that we can always just be open to whatever is coming, we're always learning, whether we realize it or not.
Well, you always talk about being open and curious.
Mm-hmm.
That curiosity is what brings us, I think, that urge to learn, to be the lifelong learners, that curiosity.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. It's a pretty amazing, thing to be able to get into that place of, and I know I talk about it a lot, but like the knowing, not knowing. Right? Like, yeah, I have this insight and this information, but I also recognize, and I find this often, right? The more I know or understand something, the more I realize there's so much more to it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that that's the piece that allows you to be that lifelong learner, because you get to a place where you're like, I will never know all of it, and that's okay. But I just want to be able to, bathe myself in this understanding as much as is given to me, right? And then being able to also let it go, and then have it come as it's needed. And I think that that's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and that's why we learn new tools. Even that's why you guys will learn new tools, right? We all do. So, thank you.
Aw, yay.
Thanks, Liz.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So I think I do think there's a difference. I mean, I was talking to my Reiki master class too, not long ago, the last one, and we were talking about how it's different when you're teaching like an energy class, anything where you're holding space for the class, right? When there's energy involved, there's a certain amount of needing to kind of manage the energy in the classroom. So we were talking about that and how it's different than you might do in like a university class or something, right? Those are not very personal universities, like they're big classes and stuff like that. And so you can kind of like, go into the background a little bit and do your own learning and all of that stuff. And I think with things like Reiki and whatnot, we're like, it needs to be that more personal thing. So I'm very much about let's all have, create a space together and have that sort of mutual understanding of how we're going to go forward together. And I think that the other thing about them is that with these types of classes, the metaphysical classes too, people are very sensitive. And so you if you have somebody that's struggling in the class, it's like you have to sort of ask them, are they doing okay, and kind of address it, because even if you don't, everyone in the classroom is going to feel it. And so that's the other piece of teaching. I think when we're teaching this kind of thing, it's kind of a unique aspect. Is kind of like supporting people along the way in that way, which you don't get, I don't think, in like things like college and university style classes. So I think that's an important aspect, and I think all three of us are pretty aware of that when we teach. So
yeah. Well, and again, that's that piece of always being the learner, right? Even as the teacher, you're still learning, because each person brings their own unique things to the table, right? And then navigating that, and navigating dynamics in a group, and navigating expectation. Like, there's a lot there. And somebody walks in and goes, yeah, I know exactly what we're doing, this is it, that's it, there's no flexibility to it, there's no openness to it. That's going to run way differently than a class where we go in together and go, okay, how are we going to navigate this journey? What are the goals, right? What are the expectations? How are we going to support one another as we go on this journey, right? And it's just a completely different way of learning and facilitating learning.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting an interesting learning for us. I mean, every class you teach, there's something different, whether it's dynamics, and I say that about any class, actually, even the ones that I attend. I learn stuff even from classes that I might know all the material, but there is always something to learn in every class, even the really bad ones, because you learn not to do it that way.
Yeah. There is truth in that. There is definitely truth in that.
I didn't really like what they did there. Or it could be a really good class, but there was one thing and you're like, oh, yeah, I don't know. Because, we're all human. And so we are here to make mistakes and learn, because that's part of it.
Yeah. Well, and that brings us back to that presence piece, right? Because being truly present is a continual learning experience, right? Every moment, it's like, oh, look what just came up inside me. Oh, wow, that just happened. And this is what's going on for me. Oh, what, right? Like it's a continual self-reflective learning in being present with something. And I think that's such a powerful tool when it comes to, how do we learn? How do we evolve? That's really what it's about.
Well, and we talked about learning styles earlier briefly, and that of course it's important to know. So when we're talking about that, are you a verbal or a kinesthetic or some combination, right, of all of those things? I know I'm missing one. Visual. So having all of those things built into your classes is important too, and because in the class you do have very different learning styles depending on who's in your class. I find that I've taught Reiki all levels there for the past 8 years now, and no two of the same level have been the same class. They get the same content, but the class itself is very different depending on who's the class and how it's flowing. And that's my teaching style, though. I'm not a real go by the book kind of girl. So, and I always tell people that when they come in, okay, so we have an agenda. We won't be following it, but it's a checklist.
I love that. We have an agenda, but we won't be following it.
Look at it as a checklist.
I love it. Yeah, I do that.
You will learn everything on the agenda, just maybe not in that order.
Yeah, with therapy too. Like if I do my discovery call with a client and they're like, so how do you work? And I'm like, well, I'm not a modularized therapist. So if you're expecting somebody who's we're going to go from step A to step B to step C, I'm not the person for you, because that's not how I operate.
Yeah. Well, and it's important for people to know that, right? Because somebody coming into the class or into your sessions would, if they are really structured, that might give them an issue coming in, right?
Yeah. Well, and there's people who are like, okay, well, I actually want a 6-session program that I'm going to go through. And I'm like, cool, you need modularized CBT, go for it. I'm not your person.
Yeah.
So that's okay. And I think that's the, as you were saying earlier, that's the beauty of us all being uniquely ourselves, is that we get to hold space, and the people who are meant to journey with us will journey with us, and those that aren't won't, and that's okay.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to learning, that's also something that we come to understand with time, is that I'm not for everybody, and I don't have to be for everybody, and I don't want to be for everybody, and it's all okay.
Yeah. We're here for a certain group of people, and those people will resonate with us, with our service, with whatever we're teaching or whatever we're bringing forward. Right. That's what we're here for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm shuffling.
Yes.
Look at how low we're getting. Like we're at like half the deck now.
Ooh, we might have to change decks before the end of the year.
This is the deck that we're using, Seeds from the Sacred Feminine. And Yeah. So Kaylee, of course, put the reminder up. Thank you.
We have
Thank
our
you.
little reminder. We got a little homework card. It's for
Our
what we're
homework card.
it's for what we're
Oh,
going to
what's
work
this?
towards for the week.
Ooh, this is so great, especially for this time of year that we're going into. Create a sacred fire.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I want to just put it out there that we need to make sure we're doing that in a safe space, or that internal fire. Just putting it out there.
We're not advocating that you burn anything inappropriate.
Exactly.
Or swallow fire.
Yeah, we're not doing that either.
No.
We're not doing that either.
No. Okay. Here we go. Let's see what it says. All right. Sometimes a raging fire is the only way to seed a new forest. Although fire can seem devastating and frightening to humans, beauty exists in fire's destructive nature as well. Fire burns away the overgrown forest to germinate new seeds. Mother Earth has made some seeds so tough that only fire can activate the germination process. Not water, not sunlight, just fire. Your emotions can resemble fire, and sometimes only rage itself can generate the healing you need. Are you holding back a raging fire and preventing an important seed or idea from germinating? Are you afraid of getting burned? What fire within you is trying to get your attention? To help you process, light a sacred fire. This may even be a simple candle. Honor the great element of fire by offering the burning embers a gift of tobacco. Sing and dance around the fire and let your physical body release the fires within. By heating up the body and sweating, you are giving your spiritual fire a chance to burn safely. Let the emotional fire out through your mouth in a ferocious snarl or vibrate your physical body into a fierce explosion. Move, dance, writhe, run, and wrestle. The body knows how to release rage safely through movement. Honor your sacred fire.
I brought fire in.
Yay!
I have my candles going on my altar here, so I brought fire in.
Yay. Yeah, I love that, right? Because and I talk to clients about it a lot, this idea of anger and the fear that people have around allowing themselves to be angry and to really know healthy and safe ways to release that rage, right? And to release that energy. And how important it is to be able to actually do that and to move that energy. Because if we suppress it, it's going to cause all kinds of issues in the body, right? And so we have to be able to find ways that are really healthy, but that allow us to release that. So what came to me too with this is in energy medicine, there's a practice, it's called expelling the venom or the blowout. Right. And so when in the card, it talks about like that roar, right? That loud, that right, whatever it is.
Yeah.
In the blowout practice, right? As you build all that energy, when you do the release, it is a blowout. It's a right. Like there's this very forceful energy that is meant to release, right? And to allow that to happen. And, you know, even just that movement of the body and how important it is, right, to release this energy within. And so I really resonated with that one.
Well, and I'm a fire sign, so I find fire fascinating to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's its own meditative practice, to be able to just sit and stare into a flame.
Yeah,
whether it's a candle flame or a bonfire flame.
Oh, bonfires.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did one last year at Jen's place. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
So I see us doing another one.
Most definitely.
It's a great way to release stuff too, right? When we put things into the fire, we release it. Fire transmutes everything. So it is a great time for that with the transits the way they are as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and if you have the ability, if you have a fire pit or a fireplace, right, to be able to light a fire safely, or, you know, as it said, just a candle, But if you really want to be present, right, and sit with the candle, with the flame, and allow yourself to just experience whatever comes up for you, that can be a very, very powerful meditation and contemplation.
Gerald says fire is my friend. And
Mm.
Kaylee says she'll bring the marshmallows.
Love it. Love
Perfect.
it, guys.
How does that sit with you, Nicole?
Mhm.
Marshmallows are good, right?
Marshmallows
Oh.
are, yeah.
It's
I
boring.
personally don't like them, but you know what? If eat them.
It's all about moderation.
It's all about moderation. If you like a marshmallow, have a marshmallow.
All about moderation.
Mm-hmm.
And Hypnosetti says, this is a great mantra. It's all okay. It
Mhm.
is. It is all okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Jen, what have you got going on this week? I don't even know what I have going on.
I think this was it. So I had Gerald just before this at 2. So you guys could check out that playlist on human design, and then this today. And I think I'm done for the week as far as lives go.
We're doing one on Wednesday, but it won't be out until the following week.
Right. That's not a live for.
Yeah, that's not live. So that's it. And yeah, I don't have a lot of lives this week either. I have lots going on by the looks of my schedule, but I don't have a lot of lives. So we will see you back here on Twillow Talk at 5 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like everybody to know, Nicole?
About what? About me?
Okay, so one about you and another one about...
I missed what you said. It didn't come through clearly.
What would you like everybody to know about you?
Nothing.
Really, open question.
Let's just put her on the spot. So I will fill that in. So you can reach out to connect with Nicole on our services page on twillowlifestyle.ca. Connect with her, get to know her. She's got a great sense of humor, and I love you. And I'm so excited that you're coming on with all of us. I'm just excited because, I love all my teachers. They're wonderful. And I get to call all of them friends and colleagues all at once. So it's a beautiful thing. So check out her stuff. Jen, check out Jen. You can also book a discovery call with Jen. That's me trying to spit out
discovery call.
Spit that out. And of course, all the discovery calls. We've all got one on there, so you're welcome to check that out and join us. And we're putting up new classes as we go this time, so there'll be new ones showing up there over the next little bit. We do have a Reiki class, Reiki 1, coming in second weekend in June. So if you want to take a look at that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
One nutrition fact. What's your favorite food?
Can't answer that on a live stream.
Okay,
pretzels.
If you could tell everybody
chocolate covered almonds.
Oh, okay.
If I was trapped on a desert island, it would be chocolate covered almonds.
Me too.
Yeah, they're not kale. Definitely not kale or spinach.
But we have to integrate kale and spinach into it.
Yeah, not into it with your chocolate covered almonds, though.
No, you could. You could
wrap them
puree
or something.
it and melt it into the chocolate, and then it's possible, right? Yeah, okay. You know what? I found the one thing people should know about me is that I'm not a tyrant, and I think that nutrition needs to fit into people's lifestyles and not the other way around. Whatever your lifestyle is, you can take nutrition and you can ease it in without having to completely change everything about you and no longer be able to go out with friends. And if you have to bring a scale and weigh your own food and only have the kale salad, that's not how life works. It's not feasible. So I think that's the one thing people should know about me.
That is one thing they should definitely know about you, because it also is what sets you apart from so many other people out there.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. You're not living off kale salad and
she's
chocolate covered almonds if you like them. Moderation.
And I have also done some workouts with Nicole as well, and filled with compassion for wherever you are in the moment. So, yeah, so we're super excited. So we shall see you all next week on Monday at 5 p.m. I don't know why my head's in Tuesday, but anyway. Oh, look at that. There you go. See?
Oh, thanks.
Just about to say I love you already.
Aw, yay.
Definitely different. Absolutely. Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. So, so we'll see you all next week on Twillow Talk, and sending you all tons of love for the new week and
I
for
can't
the
do
new 12. She sends y'all love too. Here,
Not
this one's
emotion
for
I'm
her.
capable of, but still here, like heart.
You are too. She's full of
Not
compassion
you.
and love.
But I can't do it. I get claw hands.
I love it.
It's all good. It's not a prerequisite. It's
No, it's
totally
not
fine.
good.
Not at all.
So sending you all lots of love and light, and we shall see you soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Okay, take care. Bye.